So can you enjoy a night out to eat and still stay keto? Hey folks, my name's Allie. Let's get started. Before I started keto, I used to eat out a lot, and I mean lots of fast food. I would eat out fast food basically every single day, and then sit down restaurants maybe once or twice a week as well. So I really was used to eating, really bad processed and fried and battered and bready foods. Thanks to keto, I'm not eating out as often, and I'm saving lots of money and eating a lot more healthfully. Right now I'm eating about zero fast food unless I'm really in a pinch, and the muscle and I will go out to dinner about once a week for date night or something like that. And I say that just to remind you that eating out can really get you off track because it's really hard to count things. If you go out to a nice dinner at a steak restaurant and you order a steak with a side of vegetables and a salad or something, or the steak has creamy sauce on top of it, you really aren't sure exactly what you're eating. And if you're like me and you're counting calories, it can really kind of make things a lot more difficult. How much butter did they use? How much cream? How much oil or fat? So it really makes things a lot more difficult if you're tracking. So I really like to keep eating out to a minimum if I can. So before I start the ultimate guide on how to eat out on keto, I just want to make a note here. When you're eating out, you're paying people to make your food the way that you want it to be. And that means, if you ask them for no sauce or to hold the sauce, don't be ashamed of that. You're paying a premium to have good food, and they should accommodate that as long as you're not being totally crazy and just trying to create your own food, right? But they should be pretty accommodating and holding food. Like for a salad, if you don't want croutons, don't be afraid to ask for a couple changes like that. And throughout this video, I'm going to show you pictures that I've been taking over the last 3 or 4 months of food that I have actually eaten when I go out to eat. And if you want to see more of those food shots, feel free to follow me on my Instagram at keto_Allie. Okay, so for this guide, I kind of wanted to go from more convenient and fast foods to sit-down restaurants. So, fast foods. So the first type of restaurant is probably a burger joint, right? McDonald's, Five Guys, Burger King, things like that. The main way to keep keto there is just to order basically a hamburger without the bun. Also to look out for ketchup. Ketchup is really sugary, so just ask for no ketchup. A couple places that I've been to, like Hardee's or Carl's Jr. if you're fancy, have low carb options where they actually wrap the burger in a lettuce bun. But it's really good and it's delicious, so maybe you can find a place that'll do that. When I go to McDonald's in a pinch and I ask for a bunless burger, they put it on like a bed of lettuce. And also to those fast food places that have breakfast, usually they'll have like bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits. Just ask them to hold the biscuit, and then you've got the bacon and the egg and the cheese to eat. Okay, so what about sub shops and delis? Well, I really like Jimmy John's, and they do the unwich. And if you've never had a gargantuan unwich, it's delicious. And I like to add sprouts, and I like to add hot peppers. So definitely look for places that will do a lettuce wrap for you, like Jimmy John's. Or if I go to Subway or something, I'll just get my sandwich, but I turn it into a salad. Okay, chicken places. So for example, Chick-fil-A, just order the grilled chicken and eat it by itself. And you can get side salads pretty often at those types of places. If there isn't a grilled chicken nugget option, then just get a grilled chicken sandwich and take it off the bun. Or ask for no bun. Okay, so I don't do this too often because it is a little bit carbier, but one of my favorite Taco Bell hacks is to get the nachos Bel Grande with no nachos and extra beef. I once had a guy at the Taco Bell drive-thru. He said, "Wait, you want a nachos Bel Grande but no nachos?" I was like, "Yes, exactly." So I just got this big platter of beef and cheese and sour cream, and it did have refried beans, and those are carbier, but I didn't care at the time because it was just delicious. Also too, you can just get tacos, hard tacos or soft tacos, and I've just taken them out of the shell. I'm not sure if they have a taco salad at Taco Bell. I don't go there often because I used to eat the Nacho Bel Grande before I did keto, so I just got that without the nachos. So if they do have a taco salad, go for that. Just don't eat the taco part. If you're at Sonic, one of my favorite things is to get the chili dog, but just hold the bun, and they'll put it in one of the long containers, and you can just eat it with a fork and a knife. Also, I have to add here, I think Sonic has some of the best fast food burgers, and so if I really want to, I'll go and get a bunless bacon and cheese burger from Sonic, and it's really, really good. Pizza places are a little bit more tough just because they serve breaded things like pizza and breadsticks and desserts. But if you can find one that has non-breaded wings, you can eat those, definitely. So if it's Super Bowl Sunday and you want to eat out with everybody else from Domino's or Papa John's, see if the wings are breaded, and if they're not, go ahead and order those. So those are just like some generic fast food places that I could think of. And, you know, burger joints are all going to have burgers, right? And, you know, Chick-fil-A and other chicken places are going to have some sort of grilled chicken. So you can just kind of modify those to the different types of restaurants that you live near. Okay, so moving on from fast food, let's look at diners. Now, a big part of most American diners is that they have a large breakfast menu. So you can definitely eat all the bacon, the eggs, and the cheese, and the ham that you want from a breakfast menu. Just look out for things like omelets, especially I've read from IHOP, they put pancake batter in their omelets. But if you do happen to go to IHOP and you want an omelet, just ask them for either crack eggs or shell eggs. And that means that they're just going to use actual eggs without any batter to make your omelet. And you can always ask the waiter or waitress too. Now, one of my favorite diners is Denny's, and I love their sirloin Cobb salad. Just hold the fried onions. But that's the thing about anything. If there's something you can't eat on keto, but it's on your salad or on your burger, just ask them to hold it, okay? Nobody's judging you, I promise. Okay, so moving more from the casual to the finer dining, let's look at sit-down restaurants. And I'm going to go in order here from most convenient to eat keto to less convenient to eat keto. Okay, so the most convenient is probably going to be a buffet. I mean, when you go to someplace like Ryan's where it's just lots of meat and lots of vegetables and salad, you really can't go wrong unless you look for something that's battered and fried. So definitely check out the hot meat stations, get that big old salad, and eat up those delicious vegetables. Okay, the second easiest place to eat, in my opinion, is a Greek restaurant. Oh my goodness, one of my favorite restaurants where I live, I just always get some type of kebab, whether it's a chicken kebab or a steak kebab or a pork kebab. I mean, really, that's just marinated meat that's been grilled, basically. And I love to get it with a huge size salad with lots of feta. I don't even put the dressing on anymore because all that feta just gives it so much flavor to me. And I love all the peppers and some of the olives and the tomatoes, and it's delicious and I love it. And so if you ever need a recommendation for a restaurant, Ally is always going to recommend a Greek restaurant. Don't forget too, you can eat a little bit of the hummus if you want an appetizer, maybe if you're having cocktails beforehand. I'm shameless. I'll eat an appetizer like that with a fork. I'll scoop it out, put a little on my own plate, and just kind of sit there and eat it while I'm waiting on the rest of my food. Okay, the third easiest place to eat is a steakhouse. I mean, get that big old steak. Get that smothered chicken. Now, the thing to watch out about steakhouses are gravies and glazes. So if something says that it's got a glaze on it, you might want to ask if it's a sugary glaze. It probably is. Also, remember, gravies are made with flour, so definitely no gravy on the side. Also, too, one time I went to Longhorn and they brought my steak out and it had like a pool of butter on the top. So if you're watching calories, this is one of those places where butter is going to show up everywhere. From your steak or your chicken to your steamed vegetables, okay? Every time I go out to a steakhouse and I get the steamed vegetables, it tastes really buttery to me, and so I don't think that they're just steamed. They must saute them or something, or maybe they steam them in butter. I don't know, but if I'm definitely trying to cut down on my calories, I usually can't depend on those vegetables to be just steamed and then salted. They usually have butter or oil on them. So if you're really counting calories, just get a side salad with the dressing on the side. And the best place for ranch dressing, I'm from the South, I love ranch, is Texas Roadhouse. They have the best ranch. I don't know why. Okay, now really tied for third, but I'm just going to put fourth, is a Mexican restaurant. Mexican restaurants are great because I love fajitas, and fajitas can be so low carb if you want them to be. I mean, just basically eat all the fixins, all the meat and the vegetables, all sauteed together, just without the tortilla. Now do watch out, some fajita plates have lots of onions and tomatoes added, and just remember that those can be higher carb vegetables. A good appetizer at a Mexican restaurant while all your friends and family are munching on those free chips and salsa, get yourself a side of guacamole and eat it with a fork, because that's what I do, and the one that I always go to have the best fresh guacamole, and I just get it all to myself, and I love it. Now when you do get dishes at Mexican restaurants, oftentimes it'll come with beans and rice or something, and then maybe it'll come with like guacamole salad. I don't know if they do that everywhere, but where I live, most places do it, especially with fajitas. They'll give you guacamole salad, which is just lettuce and guacamole and sour cream and maybe pico de gallo. So instead of the rice and the beans, just ask for extra lettuce. And then you can just make a gigantic salad out of it, which is pretty good. Also too, there are lots of options at a Mexican restaurant. Taco salad without the taco shell. They have lots of other meat dishes that don't necessarily have to come with any type of tortilla. They usually have lots of chicken dishes that'll come in a red salsa or smothered with cheese. So just look for those types of options, but definitely my favorite is fajitas without the tortilla. A little side note about Mexican restaurants is check out the salsa before you smother it all over your food. Just make sure it's not too sugary or sweet. Okay, and I almost forgot to add, one of my favorite dishes at a Mexican restaurant is this huge thing called the molcajete. And it comes in this big old mortar, 3 different types of meat, cheese just smothered in queso, salsa. It has vegetables, sometimes even cactus, and it's just so good. And it's just this big old bowl just for you. And if you have a Mexican restaurant near you that serves something like that, I definitely recommend it. It's probably one of my favorite things ever. Again, that's molcajete. Okay, the 5th most difficult place to eat at, in my opinion, is an Italian restaurant. And that's just because, I mean, they serve breadsticks and pasta all the time, right? Well, look for those other options like the beef and the chicken. I'm going to use Olive Garden as my example because I'm sure most people in America at least have an Olive Garden somewhere near them. So to start, you can definitely look for appetizers, obviously salad, but then you also have things like mussels, spinach and artichoke dip, and things like sauteed vegetables or mushrooms. I love sauteed mushrooms as an appetizer. Just look out for things like stuffed mushrooms. Check the ingredients, because when I looked on Olive Garden, they had breadcrumbs in them, so definitely not keto friendly. Also too, look out for soups. Most soups are going to have a thickener like flour in them. But definitely look at their steak options. Steak from an Italian restaurant can be so delicious with a side of vegetables, and their chicken options. So when I looked on Olive Garden's website, they have the chicken margarita and the herb grilled salmon. And just a note here about salmon, when you go out, please make sure it's not glazed. Remember, glaze usually means sugary. Okay, one of the most difficult places to eat at for me is an Asian restaurant. So I grew up in a family that when it was a really special occasion, we go to one of those hibachi or teppanyaki places where they like chop the food in front of you and make the flames go up in the air. And being from the South, one of the things that we loved to do when we went out to those places was cover our whole plate in this thing called white sauce. It's like a sugary, creamy sauce. That's not keto friendly. And I'm going to tell you how you can make your hibachi meal definitely keto friendly. So if you ever order teriyaki chicken or teriyaki beef, just ask your waiter to substitute soy sauce for teriyaki sauce. I did that a couple times and they had no problem doing it. They just cooked my chicken on a separate part of the grill and it was fine. Also too, don't forget to substitute that rice for extra vegetables. Now if you want an appetizer or you're feeling like sushi, and trust me, I used to love sushi, try out the sashimi. It's basically just the fish part of the sushi and it's delicious. Now what I do kind of miss, and when I lived in a bigger city with probably a more authentic type of hibachi restaurant, is ginger dressing. And now that I'm back down south, I cannot go out to eat at a Japanese restaurant without getting a really sugary ginger dressing. So ask for your dressing on the side if you like the ginger, give it a little try, and if it tastes really sugary, just ask for something else. I usually have to end up getting ranch. When you go to places like Asian fusion restaurants, definitely look out for those sugary glazes. I had to ask the waiter if the chicken or beef on a stick came with a sugary glaze. And he said no, but you know, as Americans, we're kind of used to just the sugariness of everything, so he probably didn't realize that, yeah, it did have lots of sugar on it. So I knew it probably was, so I took a little bite and definitely it was sugary. So I sent it back and I had to get an avocado salad. So that's why I think Asian restaurants are really hard to eat in America, is because we just put sugar on everything from teriyaki to ginger dressing to the white sauce to our meats and everything. So just look out for those, and you know, just let your waiter know that you're really on a low sugar diet for your health, and that if something does taste sugary, feel free to send it back, especially if they said that it wouldn't be sugary. Okay, the last and probably most difficult restaurant type that I can think of is Indian. Now I love Indian restaurants. There is this buffet that I try to go to at least once every 3 or 4 months if I can get off for lunch, because they only do the buffet at lunch. But I have no idea what goes into a curry. From what I've researched over the years trying to recreate my own, it's a lot of yogurt and lots of tomato paste, which can both be higher carb foods. So for me, Indian is just that treat that I try and give myself maybe 3 or 4 times out of the year, just because I really don't know what's in the sauce, and every restaurant's going to be a little different. I even had one restaurant I used to go to that wasn't very sweet. It was more savory, and then the next time I went it was really sweet. I was like, what is this? So it can just change, and all the vegetables are going to be different. So I'm going to give you a list of foods that should be pretty keto friendly for the most part across the board. But remember, every restaurant's going to be a little bit different. So definitely check out sag paneer, which is basically just spinach and cheese. Tandoori chicken's really good. It's that reddish colored chicken that you see. Any type of kebab really, and I love lamb kebabs. Ooh, delicious. And then usually chicken tikka masala should be pretty okay as long as you don't eat a lot of the sauce. I mean, it can have a little bit of the sauce because it's mostly just yogurt and tomato paste and some spices, but just watch out for those sugarier and higher carb sauces. Also to the Indian places that I go to more often, some of the dishes will have chunks of potato, but you can eat around those chunks of potato. So if you see something, feel free to just kind of eat around it. That's what I do, and it hasn't really caused any issues for me. Definitely look out for my favorite fruit. I was gonna say vegetable. Definitely look out for eggplant dishes. Eggplant is so filling, and it's one of my favorite fruits to eat because it can be so versatile. So look out for those eggplant dishes and all the chicken dishes, and definitely treat yourself. If you really want Indian one day, just look out for things that aren't sugary. Try and eat less of the sauce and more of the meat, and definitely look out for those starchier vegetables like potatoes and chickpeas and peas in your meal. So just a final note, it actually is a lot easier to eat out at a fast food restaurant if you're tracking your food and your macronutrients and your calories, because you can usually go onto that business's website and they have like a meal calculator where you can put on what you want on your bunless burger or your unwich, and so it's easier to kind of track those and see what you're eating. But like I said, when you go out to eat, it really is just kind of throwing things in the air and hoping for the best. So definitely ask your waiter, what's in this? Hopefully they'll know. Or, is it sugary? Something like that. Also too, watch out for diet sodas when you go out, because every time I go out, I feel like the first time I'll get the diet soda that I wanted, and then the second time I'm like, this doesn't taste like diet soda. And so I'll get like my mom or somebody to try it, and they're like, oh yeah, that's diet. But if I don't see like the diet label, I feel like they forget when they refill it. Who knows? So I always try and get water or iced tea when I go out so that I can definitely tell whether it's sweet or not with actual sugar. Well folks, that's just my experience with eating out over the past almost 3 years now on keto, and some hints and tips and tricks that I picked up along the way. And I really hope you enjoyed and learned something, and if you have a question about a specific food or where to eat or something, leave me a comment down below. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to see more food that I'm eating, you can feel free to follow me on Instagram. My name is keto_Ally. Again, thanks for watching. My name's Ally. Have a good one. Bye. Trying out a new background. Let me know what you think. Yeah, so I know it's been a while. I did Vlogmas where I was vlogging and doing videos every day, but man, these last 2 weeks back at work after my vacation, they've been rough. And so I come home and it's dark and I really don't feel like making a video, but I make myself do at least one a week, and I want to get back to doing, maybe a couple a week, maybe once every 4 days or something like that. So yeah, right now I'm struggling just because I'm tired and I've got lots going on besides these videos. But yeah, hopefully it'll pick up a little bit more in the future, and I'll get these out more often. So if you've been watching me and following me, thank you. I really appreciate it. And I know some of you have your personal questions about your diet, and if I answered every single one of those, I wouldn't have a life ever, and I probably couldn't be able to stay at my job. So I really, I try and get to those ones that I think would be universal for more people. But if you have a specific question about your diet, or maybe something's not working, it's definitely helpful. Maybe other people can help you too if they see your comment, is to post, your stats. What calories are you eating? How heavy are you? How many carbs are you allowing? Are you measuring your food on a digital food scale? Because that's my first go-to. Are you measuring your food on a digital food scale? So if you've been asking, Ally, I've been on this diet, but I'm not losing anything. Well, first of all, how heavy are you? Because it's going to make a difference if you're 300 pounds versus if you're 175 trying to get down to 150. Okay, so definitely, that matters. And also too, please make sure you're weighing your food, because we can often eat a lot more than we think we are. So, and I definitely used to have that problem, and I still would if I didn't measure everything. So I hope that helps the general population out there who have been asking me. But like I said, thank you for watching, and I really appreciate it. And I do enjoy making these videos, and I'm trying to make more time in my life for them. So y'all have a good one. Bye.